This podcast is a B-Side Collections production.
Fertility ain't fair.
That's right.
So let's talk about it. Real, raw, unfiltered, with me, your friend in fertility. Yes, welcome back to another season of Fertility Ain't Fair, the podcast. You guys, this is season 3. I am overjoyed, super excited to kick off another season with you guys to talk about all of the things that are going on in this fertility and infertility, reproductive health, and parenthood for all space. Everyone is welcome here. And let me just start by saying who I am, right? Some of you may be very new to our community and new to the pod. I am Britt. I am your fearless, sometimes leader in this thing. I am your forever friend in fertility, and I am here to bring you facts, stories, resources, people, places, things that can help you wherever you might be in your journey. And this episode, we are starting this season talking about all things skincare, beauty, and how these things can affect your health and wellness when you are using products that we use every single day that could have toxins, endocrine blockers, and a number of other things in them. And really how those things can affect your everyday health and wellness, but also your reproductive health, not only for the ladies, also for the men as well. There are so many things in our everyday products that our great country decides to allow to be there. And so they are on the shelves. We have been using them for decades. When it comes to your body wash, your face wash, toxic feminine healthcare products, all of it, everyone. So we are here diving into the skin you are in on this episode and really talking to our girl, Kaytie Nicole, who is the CEO and founder of In Harmony Skincare, which is, of course, non-toxic, natural, organic, vegan, cruelty-free, etc. And so she's going to dive into how she got on this journey, starting her company, and she's also an endo warrior. So let's go ahead and kick off this season 3 of Fertility Ain't Fair with Kaytie Nicole. So we are back for another episode, as you know, of Fertility Ain't Fair. And we have, as promised, Kaytie Nicole hopping in to check in with our community. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Look, I'm well. That's all I'm trying to get to every single day. Like, am I well? I'm well today. I don't have pain today. I feel good today.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I do have pain today, but
Oh, we hate to hear it. we hate to hear it. Is this endo pain? Is it not talk about pain? Is it?
It's definitely endo pain. So I'm having some cramping, and I also have a cyst on my left ovary that's the size of a lime. So I've been feeling that giving me some pressure up into like my the middle of my pelvis and wrapping around my back.
Well, we hate to hear that. And I think, there are far too many of us, including myself, who understand what that feels like and have obviously been there many times, and it doesn't get better. It
really doesn't.
It's like, oh, I've been doing this for the last 10 years of my life, but it still sucks. It's still trash. It's still trash.
It is, but I am having surgery in 6 weeks. So
that's exciting.
I'm having it at Stanford. So I have found a Nook doctor that is a really big endo specialist, and she's well known among the endo community and the endometriosis specialist community of doctors. And so I feel really confident about her ability to actually get me some help and provide me some relief, because it's been a long time.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited to hear that. That's amazing. We wish you all the best with that surgery, with that doctor, that care team, sending you love and light and just prayers. And so praying that, after healing, that truly does give you the relief that you need and that you deserve. So Yes, I think I saw it on your IG actually. I think last night I might have seen that you had done a post about upcoming surgery. So yeah, giving you all the love for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to document the journey just so that no one feels alone.
Yeah,
Because I don't do it for myself. I'll tell you that. I'd prefer not to share.
yeah,
But
yep,
I did
yep.
realize that more people need to share so more women and people with endometriosis don't feel alone.
Absolutely. Like, and I think, I mentioned in our intro, but, so the way I found Kaytie was through our annual Indo Black conference this year. And so shout out to Indo Black.
Shout out to Endo Black.
Yes, 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 yes. The amazing women at Indo Black. I was just with them recently for a meet and greet. And so I heard her speak on this panel talking about, of course, her endo journey, but also skincare and relating that back to, endo and other wellness issues or health issues. And I was like, I have got to get my life together. For real, I was just like, I feel like the last year I've been on a really personal mission to like do better with my skincare and actually like have a regimen going. And I went to like see a dermatologist for the first time in my life. You're probably like, that's crazy, girl. But it took me, yes, this long. But I went and I was excited. It was very exciting. I felt very adult. I was like, okay. I found an amazing Black dermatologist here in my area. She had a long waiting list, but I waited for like 8 months to see her.
Oh,
So,
that's a long
yes,
time to wait.
yes, it was that long, but I booked it way back when, and I was like, okay, finally getting to go. She was amazing. She was as promised by everyone I've spoken to. So all exciting things. But then I watched the documentary Not So Pretty on HBO Max, and it scared me straight because I had a friend who said, hey, like, I need you to watch this, but I need you to be in a good mental headspace before you do, because there's a really amazing segment in here connecting like endocrine blockers and certain like daily products that we use, body wash, skincare, all that stuff, back to fertility, and not just female, but also male fertility issues. I was like, oh shit. So I was like, okay. I was like, right, right. Like, how much damage have I done for the last 30 plus years? Like, oh my God. So, but it was good. I mean, good friend of the show. And I'm thankful that she gave me the prereq warning, like, hey, get your mind right. Like, don't just jump into this blindly. So thank you, my friend. But I was like, okay, so not only am I trying to do my skincare mission here, but now I got to be really intentional about clean beauty and certain skin products and doing my research and looking on the back of the bottles and reading through all the ingredients. And I was just like, it was overwhelming. Like, and I was like, I feel like we have been sold a lie, as we have with many things. But
Right.
another thing that we've been sold a lie about. And I was just like, okay, between that and then your conversation at the conference, I was like, okay, like I need to have this conversation, and I feel like I'm not alone.
Yeah, you're not. There are so many people who don't know that regular products that you have in your house are,
Mm-hmm.
are toxic. And
Toxic.
it's part of my mission to educate as many people as possible on the fact that there are clean products and
Mm-hmm.
there is a difference in your health, or that it can make in your health when you do
Yeah.
use products that are really clean, not just claim to be clean,
Right.
um, versus just everyday on the shelf toxic filled things.
Mm. And we're going to dive into all of that. So let me go back to the beginning. So what I have to ask every guest at the top is, how do you define yourself as of today? What are the words or phrases to describe who Kaytie is at this moment?
Wow. Well, I definitely describe myself as a go-getter and as somebody who works really hard for others.
Mm,
Um, Words and phrases I feel right now are like champion, because I'm proving to myself that there's things that I can do that I felt, even 3 years ago that I couldn't.
mm,
Um, I would definitely call myself a very resilient person. I've been through a lot of things. However, I'm always searching for healing and love and light through, you know, any moment, even the hardest ones. And I would just call myself a student of life.
I love it. I love it. That is perfection. How do you feel like you've gotten to the place where you can say, okay, I'm still learning and I'm still healing and I'm still, I guess, able to see, the forest through the trees when it comes to those darker moments?
Well, I had a life-threatening condition, I would say, happen to me to where I almost lost my life. I was bleeding internally, and I felt my life leaving my body. That was 5 years ago, and I will definitely say that since then, because you're so close to death, you just kind of learn to appreciate life. But I was also taught around the age of 18 that once the mind expands, it can never go back, and to continue to be a student of the world, because if you're not learning and growing, then you're dying. And so I just have this outlook on life that like we can let it be beautiful no matter how ugly it gets. Just because, I was given a second chance.
Yeah.
So I think that it's easier for me to have that perspective because of my circle, because of that experience.
Yeah. Well, that's the show. That's it. We're done. I mean, at this point, because I was like, I'm not sure what she's gonna say. I don't know, but I mean, I mean, yes. I hope that people can take that and not say that, okay, I have to get to the point of almost losing my life, right, to get to this beautiful place, but to take it and say, wow, someone did almost lose their life and they're here. So how can I take that perspective on, without maybe having to go through the exact same things as you did or I did, but to take on that perspective regardless of where you are in your life and your experiences. So
absolutely, I don't.
that was
I
beautiful.
hope that others don't have to go through what I went through to learn the lessons that I've had to learn.
Right.
But I was also really young. I was 26, and so like having that experience at a young age again just changed my perception of life. And so I've just found gratitude in moments, and it's like even when I'm like, why is this happening to me? You know what I mean? When I wait, the lesson always comes.
You're right. No, and yeah, I'm just like nodding and smiling and shaking my head because I agree. So many things that we never imagined we would go through, that we never thought we could endure, that we didn't think we could grow from, are just lessons. And like the gratitude in the moments is so important. So thank you for sharing that with us. So let's dive into these things called endocrine blockers, or what EDCs, EDs, they have all these different terminologies for them. And all we need is like another acronym in our space because there's not enough already. But so I was really not familiar, I'll be totally honest, until doing some digging and seeing that documentary, like what these were. So can you, I guess in your best layman's terms for all of us, kind of define what are endocrine blockers to start our conversation off?
Okay, yeah, no worries. So actually, let's start with the endocrine system. So the endocrine system is your network of hormones that run through your body. And so, your hormones help they're like signals that send, your body sends from one place from your brain to different organs to function properly. However, an endocrine blocker or disruptor is something that disrupts the chemicals that are naturally produced in your body, and they interfere with the endocrine system. They can cause tumors, birth defects, developmental disorders. They can cause disease to grow. They can cause cellular deformation, or I forget the word that it is, but when cells start to mutation, yeah, cellular mutation. And so they can be a lot of different chemicals. There's chemicals in our food, there's chemicals in our products, in our hair products, in our skin products, in our laundry detergent, in our household cleaners, that unfortunately in the United States are legal to put in them, in all of these things that we use every day. And there's more than we even realize. And so what they do is they disrupt your endocrine system. So it can just disrupt your body because now you have toxins going into your natural chemicals and messing your natural chemicals up.
That was perfect. And I think that is, no, it was an easy way for everyone to understand. And once again, like these are literally, as you mentioned, in every single thing. It can, like I said, it's in every product, in every food, and anything that you have not like grown yourself or
that's why I started a garden.
Yeah, right. Okay, you have your own garden. Of course you do. You're amazing. Because there's nothing else to do. Like a doula, I have a garden. I have a mom. I'm a skincare line. You're amazing. But like, it's literally, if you did not have your hands on it, if you did not foresee that thing from start to finish, it's probably going to have something in there that you, if you knew, would not want in your body and in your household. And so you mentioned like where these things come from on a daily basis. And I think back to your point though. So when I was watching that documentary and I realized that, like you said, in the United States, all of these things are allowed. That for me, once again, wasn't a shock. I know where we live at, but I think once you get the information like up front and, it gives you all the facts and all of the information, it's just like, wow. Like, I'm not surprised, but I'm also like pissed off and angry at the fact that, we live in a country where, compared to other countries, there are hundreds and hundreds of chemicals and toxins that the US says this can be in everyday products. In other countries, they say absolutely not.
They're banned.
Right?
They're illegal.
Exactly. And it was just wild. I'm like, I know that we are a capitalist society and money rules all and companies rule everything. But
anything to make money.
Anything. And so my first thought was like, okay, well, any of these major, and I'm not going to call out names, I'm not here to bash companies, but any of these major brands that we get served ads to and all these things for so long, even our moms, whoever, like for so many years, like those are off the table immediately because we know why they're here.
Right. I mean, down to your deodorant, right?
Yeah.
All these things that they're saying, you should use our products, down to our feminine hygiene products, our period
It's organic,
products.
it's natural. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah, and that was something else to add to that point that you brought up. I love that is that, I had to start looking at, non-toxic feminine products. And it may sound so silly, like, Brittany, you should have been doing this for years. But, yeah, I was like, well, is it that bad? I mean, if we're all using the same stuff, is it that bad? And it wasn't until a couple of years ago where I felt like a push was happening for these other companies, popping up in stores that were saying like, hey, we are not toxic. Do you know what's in a tampon? I'm like, no, I don't. Tell me. Please tell me.
Yeah. And those things that we've been using since our period started when we were 12, 11, 10, 13.
Yeah.
And then, we've been using these toxins like literally on our skin that goes up into our uterus and our bloodstream, into our bloodstream surrounding our pelvis. It's like, and they allowed it and it was legal.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part.
That it was. It really was. I think that for me was like my biggest takeaway was just the fact that these other countries say no. And we were like, yeah, it's fine. And I was just like, wow. And you went right into my next point was like, okay, like the skin and how it works. It may sound like a really dumb question, but I think a lot of people assume, okay, my skin is this very tough barrier. But like you said, like how does skin work? Because you just said it seeps into everywhere else. So just because you put something on your face, for example, doesn't mean it's not going to affect the rest of your body.
Right. So your skin is actually an organ. And a lot of people don't know that. Your skin is the largest organ of your body. And it does absorb over 50% of what we put onto it, into your bloodstream. So onto it, meaning soaps, lotions, deodorants, sunscreen. I mean, clothes. So when we put our clothes on, if you have used like a detergent, or especially a fabric softener on your clothes, then your skin absorbs those things because the chemicals stay on the fabric. And so your skin is actually made up of many layers. You have like superficial layers, you have deep tissue layers. And that's why like when you get burned, they have first degree, second degree, third degree because of how many layers deep it affects your skin.
Yeah. To your point, like people don't realize that it's an organ and that it's, this living, breathing thing that takes things in and puts things out. And like I said, like, I think that we just assume that it is this, cause like, oh, it's a barrier, but it also takes in, it absorbs. And, a lot of times when you get the products, right? Because you're like, oh, I want it to absorb and be moisturized and all these things. And it's like, well, it's literally seeping into all parts of your body and it's going everywhere. So like you have to be cognizant of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the skin is like, it's actually a really cool organ because it has so many different layers, like the epidermis, which is the top layer, right? You have the dermis where like your nervous, your nervous, your nerves are, and then you go into the hypodermis, which is like the deep tissue. And that's where like the fat cells stay, and you have like arteries and veins that run through, right? And blood vessels. You have connective tissue that goes through. You have glands. You have hair follicles. Something really cool that I learned is every hair follicle has this tiny little muscle on it, which is why your hair stands up when you get cold or when you get nervous, when you get the chills. Every single hair follicle has this tiny little muscle. Right. I took an anatomy and physiology last quarter, guys, so I'm really confident in my knowledge of the skin.
Look, give us all the knowledge because I don't know any of that. I remember like the layers briefly and like probably school we learned something about that. And I was like, yeah, it kind of sounds familiar. But once again, I wasn't thinking about things like this 20 years later down the line.
It's like they gave us this knowledge without like understanding.
Right.
Like, right. Okay, yeah, absolutely. This is your skin. The end.
Knowledge without understanding. That's it.
Right. That's cool. They give you all this information and then,
oh my God. Like, and then here we are trying to figure it out. Like, it was like, where all this come from? It's like, well, we mentioned it. Like, did you? So let's get into toxins. So now we're on the same playing field. We know what EDs are. We understand how the skin works, and we understand now that all of these things can affect your overall health, your wellness, reproductive health, etc. So what are some of the common toxins that you may find in like everyday skin and beauty products that people should probably be on the lookout for?
The number one toxin is fragrance. So if you even see fragrance on anything, it's just going to say that word, fragrance. That is super toxic to your skin. It's like a level 9 on the scale of 10.
That's what I learned. So I'm glad you said that because that is exactly what I learned from watching that documentary as well. And I was just like, wait, what? And so when I went, like I immediately afterwards, of course, went to my bathroom, got a trash bag and started dumping stuff out. But I'm looking at the back and like almost everything that I had that, like mysterious fragrance perfume label in the back of it. And like when I was watching it, it said that like that is allowed in the US and they're not required to tell you what that means. Like what does fragrance make up? And they don't have to tell us. So you can have God knows what as an ingredient in this product, but if it's a labeled perfume or fragrance, it can be coded as a beauty quote unquote trade secret, and they're not required by law to detail out what makes up that fragrance label. And I was just like, again,
there could literally be arsenic in it, and it's like,
literally it's like trade secret, like secret. Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm so glad that was your number one because I was like, that was really impactful for me. And like I said, if I could guarantee you guys, if you go to your products, if you haven't already become woke on all these things, like it will be on there. And then I also see a lot of paraben free now popping up in like phthalates, right?
Salicylic acid.
Salicylic acid, like all these different things. And I think people are trying to maybe in theory package better. So it's like, oh, paraben free, phthalate free. But maybe not.
Right. I thought, maybe I'm not. Sorry. You mean on the labels, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that really doesn't mean anything if the ingredients are still in there, toxic. And even there are companies that claim to be organic and natural with unnatural and toxic, ingredients in their products still.
Absolutely. So, like I said, for me, I was overwhelmed with where to restart my kind of beauty regimen and like do what I could to like start some kind of detox. So like if you had to give someone advice on like starting or refreshing, like where would you guide them?
Well, I would guide them to say, drink water.
Yeah.
That's where you start. But you have to cut out the toxins in your life, right? That you put in your body. So if you're detoxing, of course that's gonna start from the inside out. Get rid of like the fake food. Get rid of the meats that are carcinogens, like, deli meat and things that have literally been proven to cause disease and cancer. Get rid of like sugary drinks, soda, I don't even know what kids drink, but like Red Bull, the energy drinks, like that stuff is so bad for your system. And it's so bad for like your organs and your bloodstream. That's like filtering out this stuff that is not supposed to be going into your body. So your organs are working extra hard to continue to filter. So like go as natural as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I learned about an app, and I don't know if I shared it or not in the past, but it's called Clearya, Clearya. And it is useful if you're shopping at like Target, Amazon, Sephora, Walmart, etc. You can put in any product for the most part. I use it for beauty products like that, but you can put in any product while you're shopping on these stores or even in store, and it will pull up for you literally like all the ingredients, like not the ones that they show you, but literally every single ingredient in there. It will tell you like by color code, like what's the most toxic, what's the least toxic, what should not be in there at all. And then it will also give you alternatives for products that are in that same store that are better than this. So I've used it a few times. It's very cool. I've used it at Target quite a few times. I use it for body wash, definitely for skincare. But it's just good to have, like, if you're like, oh, I don't know, questionable, or you want, like I said, start fresh and you feel like, I don't know where to start, like, just like find some help. And this could like help you just kind of start and say, okay, let me just, look up and see what I currently have and see what it says. Cause I was like, that's what I did first. Like, let me just test out what I have. And it was like bad. So,
red.
awful. Girl, start over. So yeah, so Clearya, if you want to look, I'm sure there's more out there, but it's a cool app to do. So we have to also, of course, talk about In Harmony, because if you do want to start over and you are looking for a non-toxic, clean, amazing beauty line and skincare and wellness line, clearly we're going to go to you for the source because you're the plug, because it's your company. So tell us about In Harmony and also how like your battle with endo like helped you to lead into this journey and venture.
So I actually was a makeup artist and I was like working on set. I was living in Chicago. I was doing makeup for like a pretty big talent agent, and then some of her talent. I was working on set, and it was really cool. And then I got hit with the ectopic pregnancy and all of that, and I was down. And I couldn't go to like work as much. And then 6 months later, I had another surgery, which is when I was diagnosed with endometriosis. So I was just getting myself back together just to be hit with another surgery. And once I got the diagnosis, I actually was not unfamiliar with endometriosis. I have aunts and cousins who have it and talk about it. And so I knew that, oh no, like I have the disease. Like, are you guys kidding me? And so I started to like look into like wellness ways to keep disease at bay. Right. And this is when I learned more about the skin. So as a makeup artist, my skin would break all the time. I use MAC and all types of stuff. So I used to have like, bumps on my cheeks and chin. And but from wearing makeup and
Mm-hmm.
like pore clogging, nasty makeup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when I got diagnosed and I went on this journey of healing, I learned about the skin, how it absorbs, and I learned what you can use on your skin instead of soap and water, and instead of these toxic products. And they were
Mm-hmm.
like oils, like jojoba oil and rosehip seed oil and camellia seed oil. So like remove dirt and oil from your face and to, enhance and tone and make your skin glow. And it's like feeding your skin, right? It's like food for your skin now. It's
Mm.
vitamins. It's like essential nutrients that we have stopped using because they've mass produced nasty skincare. So anyway, I could talk
Yeah,
about that all day.
I love
Um,
it.
but yeah, that's kind of where it began and just wanting to be healthier. And then as I started using all these different things on my face, my clients start to ask me like, wow, your skin is looking really good. What are you using? So I'd be like, oh, go to Trader Joe's, blah, 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 order this on Amazon. They were like, I'm not doing that. And so I realized that it was, an opportunity for me to create something for myself, but also for people who are like me and people who want to make a change in their life before they have to develop something.
That's a story. I mean, that's a story, and I'm so grateful that you chose to just walk in this purpose and this passion and create this and find your own way to wellness, and then help, as you mentioned, like you want to help other people. You serve other people, right? Like you said, I'm not posting for me. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it to help others, but in your way of helping yourself, you did create this amazing brand, to really help a lot of people. So in your experience or best expertise, what are the like daily skincare essentials that everyone needs, whether it's from In Harmony or from your own, clean beauty brand? Like, what are those essentials that someone needs to either start or restart like their skin regimen?
First and foremost, water.
Yes,
You
clean
don't have
water.
to use soap every day to wash your face. Your
Mm-hmm.
face needs to balance back to its natural pH. And when you're using soap, you're stripping the sebum from your the surface of your skin. So you're throwing your face and the natural pH off. So you want to
Mm.
like rebalance by allowing your skin to get a little sweaty and dirty. I mean, if you sweat a lot, then yeah, you probably should wash your face. But like in those months where we're not so hot, giving
Mm-hmm.
yourself a day in between washing and like not wearing makeup, not wearing moisturizer, let your pores air out. Um,
Okay.
I would definitely say, like I said, in drinking water during that time, like through that detox, eating a lot of vegetables and uh, like green and purple,
Mm-hmm.
vegetables and things like that. Those are really important as well with, for the inside of your body to give off more production of healthy cells. And those healthy cells are going to definitely, start showing up as the old cells and dead cells shed.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's an easy kind of way to ease into or ease back into, being in a good space. It's not too overwhelming, and it will make you feel and look good. So that's what we're all, trying to get to, just feeling and looking better every single day as we, go through this thing called life. So um, quick segment break. So I have a segment called WTF, and it stands for What the Fertility.
WTF. This is What the Fertility.
It is an article or some kind of noteworthy, newsworthy sharing piece that I found recently that I wanted to just bring into our space. So my mom is queen of like random articles, but this one was really dope. I just got like the other day from her, and I wanted to just shout out this woman, her amazing story. She's also an endo warrior. And so it was on Today News under Women's Health. And the caption was, yes, truly a blessing. After removing 78 fibroids, woman finally becomes a mom. And I was like, wait a minute.
My eyes just got really big.
No, girl, mine did too. I was like, I read this wrong. This can't be right. Like 78, y'all. Not 728, 78, almost 80.
That's crazy.
So yes, her name is Shauna McDonald. She is an amazing Black queen, And she has undergone 6 surgeries for fibroids and endometriosis over the years. And she was finally able to give birth to her miracle son recently. But I mean, I know, right? Like we all, for those of us, I will say who want, to be mommy's, daddy, etc. Loves to see these kind of stories because it gives you that extra dose of like, just keep going. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, she's had heavy periods since, of course, high school. She's had uterine fibroids. She's had these surgeries. She's tried to get pregnant multiple times, 2 rounds of IVF, unsuccessful, like all these things. But the very last surgery, that's when they removed the 78. So like, I was like, okay, maybe collectively over these 6 surgeries, you know what I mean? She got to that crazy number. No. October of 2020 is when she had her last surgery. And that's when they removed the 78.
Wow, at once.
So at once. I was just like, I cannot imagine. Like, like this is like things you read, like I could not even imagine.
Yeah.
So once again, shout out to Shauna McDonald, wherever you are in this world, girl, like, congrats on your baby. Girl, congrats on your uterus.
We're happy for you.
We're so happy for you. Thank God your uterus is still intact, girl. Like, you have been through so much. I mean, endo and fibroids, and you had bowel blockage, just so many things, emergency surgery. And all while doing this, in between these surgeries, you were trying to get pregnant. Like, the mental psyche that we know that these illnesses take on our just ourselves is just so much.
It's so much. And there's like so much medical trauma in there. So like really, when I say I'm happy for her, like I'm really happy for her.
Ditto. So that's our WTF today. So as we're wrapping up, if the folks want to connect with you, where can they find you on social, the web? Share all your good details with our community.
Okay, perfect. Well, my skincare line, our website is stayinharmony.com. Like you want to stay in harmony.
Yeah.
On Instagram, we're stay_in_harmony. And then to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at Kaytie Nicole. And spelling of my name should be here in the topic because it's spelled a little differently. And also on TikTok, Kaytie_Nicole.
I love it. And then we are going to wrap our show with another segment called From IG with Love.
From IG with Love.
And that is something that I have seen recently on Instagram that I am loving, that I wanted to just give out to you guys. And of course, we had a check-in with Stay in Harmony. So this is a post from a few months back, and it goes as such. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. And that actually is a Bruce Lee quote. So I was like, okay, Bruce Lee. That is a good quote for skin, but also life. Obviously, we're staying in our theme for this episode. But once again, stay_in harmony and find all the good things and products and check in with Kaytie and her team. And thank you again for doing this. I feel like we were able to get some good knowledge, some good gems. So I just thank you for checking in.
I love that. I really do hope that I was able to, add some value today. But thank you for having me. I'm always happy to share, talk, discuss, be open. So I love this space.
In this episode, I talked about my new skincare journey and how difficult it can be to start fresh and also keep it non-toxic. But one company who totally gets it and is committed to healthy skin is In Harmony. Their mission is to provide you with great skincare products that are all handmade with love in small batches from high quality sources that will make your skin say thank you. Their products are 100% organic, vegan, natural, and cruelty free. Your skin is the largest organ on your body, so you should treat it with care. What you put on the outside can obviously affect what's on the inside. So check out In Harmony online at stayinharmony.com or on IG at stay_in_harmony and tell them Fertility Ain't Fair sent you. Well, that wraps it up for this first episode of season 3 for Fertility Ain't Fair, the podcast. Again, I am your host, Britt, and I am thanking you for jumping back on this crazy ride with me. And we have to thank our very first guest of the season, Miss Kaytie Nicole from Stay in Harmony Skincare and Beauty Products. We loved having her on this episode. I hope you learned a couple things that you can take that are actionable. And of course, I'll give you my top takeaways. So number 1, endocrine blockers. We defined those in this episode. So what do we have to say about learning about them? Finding better products. We want everyone to shop clean, and that goes for just about everything in our household. So body wash, skincare, your laundry detergents, everything down to, literally every single product that we go out there and buy, household cleaners. So it's a lot, right? To kind of overhaul and toss out all of these, things we spent money on. I get it. Trust me, I do. But little by little, as I go to buy, if we need to refill something, I'm like, you know what? Let me not just go to my usual part of the aisle. Let me, do some digging. Let me use the Clearia app. Let me do some more research to say, okay, you know what? Maybe my go-to isn't the best product for us in our household if we want to kind of live a more clean lifestyle and a more healthy lifestyle inside and out. So number 1. Number 2, the skin. If you learn this today, no big deal. There's no judgment here, ever. It's the largest organ of our bodies, so therefore it can absorb, on average, 50% of what we put onto it. So that could be your lotion, your skincare, or as Kaytie had mentioned, you're washing your clothes, put them in a dryer, the dryer sheets. What are in those dryer sheets? I don't know. So looking at all the different things that touch your body every single day and all of the chemicals that our body can absorb. So just because, it's not a cream or a lotion doesn't mean that it is not harmful to your skin. And then obviously to the inside of your body. So remember that. And number 3, detox starts from the inside. It is a full body change. These are a lot of really radical lifestyle changes, from the products that we buy to how we eat, to how we stay active, and just how we begin to detox ourselves from the things that we've been using probably our entire lives. So it can be a little overwhelming, but we're all here to support you on the journey. And as always, if you have any questions or you want to share your story, reach out to us on social media at Fertility Ain't Fair on Instagram and Facebook. Check out Kaytie Nicole also on social media, and her amazing, clean, natural line of skincare products and body products that Stay in Harmony. Make sure you check her out. Hit her up on social media. Tell her we sent you. And she is, of course, now a friend and part of our family here at Fertility Ain't Fair. So next time, until I talk to you guys again, remember, as I mentioned, social media, follow us, shoot us a DM. I definitely respond. And also make sure you subscribe, like, and share the podcast wherever you get your podcast. We want to connect with more of you across this season and with this brand. And so also, with that being said, if you have a story to share that you're willing to share with our community, if you have a resource or an amazing doctor or contact, like they say, hey, this would be a great subject for the podcast. Look, I'm all ears, guys. So please shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. I will absolutely get back to you. And until next time, I am your forever friend in fertility. Stay hopeful.